I have gotten pretty far along on the control system for the Haunted Junkyard. I have the sound control board finalized, and I got one of the relay boards for controlling motors and lights finished. I still got another one of these to do. I gotta get the props working, write the program, la 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 la. So I still got a good bit to do, but I am feeling pretty confident about where I am now in the timetable. I had a pretty good garage sale find when I found this home theater sound system at a garage sale for $20. It's one of the lower end sound systems from like Walmart, but for $20 it was worth it to keep me from having to unhook the one I got at home like I did last year and bring it out there. So now I have one dedicated just for the Halloween haunt. Okay, this is how the system works. Right now I'm playing bird calls on the Zune player because anything else will get me flagged by YouTube for a copyright violation. So I don't know how some people seem to get away with that, but right when the video is processing by YouTube, they flag me right off the bat, even if I have a little smidgen of music from somewhere else. So right now I'm just playing bird calls on the Zune player, and it is going into the input for the Zune. I have two relays here that when they're not energized, it just sends this input through them to the output, which is going to an RCA plug on the back of the sound system. So when nothing's going on the board here, it just plays music off the Zune. When I energize these two relays, which is the left and right channel for the audio, it will switch from the Zune player to the propeller chip, which is playing wave files off of a SD card. Also right now it's playing the sound on the speaker that is tied to relay 0. This speaker works opposite the other relays. When this speaker is not energized, then the speaker is active. When this relay is energized, then it turns that speaker off. The other speakers do it the opposite way. They're all off right now, but when I energize them, then they'll come on. I did this because the wall speaker and the music play for 10 minutes in between each group, and by and large, that's what the board's doing, is playing music most of the time. So it made sense to have that as the default, where I didn't have to energize anything on the board to make that happen. It just happens automatically. Now I also have this photocell tied to the board, and I'm going to have a laser pointing at it, and when this photocell goes dark, then it switches inputs to the propeller chip and starts the whole routine for the haunted trail, for the haunted junkyard. So right now, if I do this, now these lights showed that the first sound played on speaker 2 and the second sound played on speaker 3. And I have three more speakers I can use. This board also has the indicator light. You might have saw it go off, and it'll blink several times when the laser trip line is broken. So everybody has a visual clue that someone's come into the junkyard. Plus they'll have the fact that the music stopped, and the dog will start barking or growling at them as they're coming up to his place. The sound control board also has two optocouplers, which will allow me to signal the control board for the interior part of the haunted junkyard. I gotta make another one of these for the interior, but this will be connected to the sound control card so that I can get the sounds and the actions of the monsters all working in sync. Also, for the exterior one, which this one is, I got a got the trigger for it. The trigger for the other one is the laser trip line, but for this one it's going to be a manual trigger. And I used a trigger off one of the drill motors that I had, and I encased it into a PVC pipe to give it sort of a nice little handhold for it, and sprayed some of that rubberized paint on there, so it's got a nice little grip to it. So you just squeeze it, and that tells this propeller chip to start its routine, and it will start turning all these things on and off according to the sequence that I put into it. One of the things I'm thinking about adding to this group, is I got one relay left over, is this solenoid. I've had it for a couple of years now and have yet to find a really good use for it. When energized, it just pulls this thing back down and the spring pops it back up again. What I would want to do is put a washer on the rope to the leaping dog and have this release the leaping dog, so when it pulls down it lets the leaping dog go and he goes flying at him, and that way I have some control at the timing of the thing. It still would have to be re-set up manually for the next group, but that's sort of an idea. So I got another garage sale find here. Got two of these tap lights for 25 cents at a garage sale. They're 5 volt, but they run really weakly off of 3 volts. And I'm thinking about putting these into the tents. That way I can lure them in with the light just kind of on, where they can see what's going on, how to get around, and then turn the lights off on them. And maybe have the soundboard let out a blood-curdling scream at the same time. It would be an interesting effect. So that'll be interesting. Or I might just run them at 5 volts with a relay or something. I don't know yet. I have to sort of test them here at home and see just how much light they're going to put out. I want to give them some light to see the stuff coming at them, but I don't want to give a lot of light.